This is the place where I spend most of my time. I work remotely as a developer, playing video games, and recently started editing videos here. This setup keeps me productive and helps me to rest when I need it. I will show you what devices I use, how I set them up, and how you can improve your current setup at home. And I'm not going to put 1,000 devices next to each other and pretend that I use them all the time. This setup is like a small ecosystem, where everything is connected by a common peripherals with easy switching between workstations. I put much effort into making this setup exactly how it is, and now I finally got what I've been dreaming for a long time. I admit that another desk could make it look better, but since I'm renting this apartment and the desk came with it, I had to adapt to these conditions. The depth of this desk is designed for a laptop at most. Just take a look how much space the monitor stand takes up on the desk. To fix this, I moved the desk away from the wall and installed the monitor arm. And now we can save some space and hide cables inside of the arm. And I will have a lot of cables connected to it, because this monitor will be like a global USB hub with all peripherals. Now that we have fixed the desk issue, it's time to connect all the cables to the monitor. But there is one catch. My monitor has only 2 USB ports, when I need at least 7. So I plugged 2 USB hubs in these ports, and now my monitor is like a USB hub with 2 USB hubs. I thought about using double-sided tape to attach them to the back of the monitor, but something went wrong. I ran a power cable to one of the hubs and connected it to chargeable devices like a keyboard and headphones, otherwise the monitor could not handle them. If you're wondering how all this will work at this point, don't worry, I'll explain everything later. For now, I will hide the cables in the monitor arm. Please note that the cables should be laid on the fully extended arm, so they won't get damaged when the arm is moved. And then I realized that the current position of the arm would not work due to the length of the keyboard cable, so I had to move the monitor arm to the left side of the desk. And then I hid the cables. To prevent the cables from dangling, I found these cable clips, and they did their job pretty well. It's finally time to talk about tech stuff, and we'll start from the monitors. The main one is an ultra-wide monitor with IPS panel and resolution of 3440 by 1440 with 144Hz refresh rate. And this aspect ratio is best suited for my work, and it's also G-Sync compatible for gaming. And now it's perfect for video editing. The deciding factor in purchasing of this monitor for me was the presence of a Type-C cable with power delivery for the laptop. It's only up to 15 watts of charging, which is sufficient for my MacBook. And if that's not enough, the second monitor also has a Type-C cable, which supports up to 60 watts of charging. I mainly use this monitor for displaying additional information while working, and sometimes I put my script on it when editing videos. GIGABYTE monitor is perfect in terms of price-quality ratio, but it has one downside. The panel is not curved. Initially, I thought it wasn't that important, but I have previously used a curved monitor of the same size, and it was much more comfortable to read information from the corners of the screen. Anyway, both monitors are connected to my laptop and desktop PC, and the magic lies in the KVM module in the monitor. It allows me to switch the image source with the press of the button, so when I switch from my laptop to PC, all my peripherals are immediately connected to PC. To make this possible, we need to connect one USB cable from the monitor. When for a laptop, a single Type-C cable is enough. Speaking of laptop, as you may have already noticed, I use a MacBook 14 Pro for work, and honestly, there is not much point in describing it, as everyone already knows about it. It's powerful and energy efficient, and when I go to the office once a week, I never bring the charger with me, since the battery lasts for a full work day. So yeah, it's perfect for work. However, most of the time, the laptop is usually closed and placed on a special stand. It's worth mentioning the keyboard and mouse as well. I didn't get the monitor with the built-in USB hub right away, and I needed to switch between devices before that. So for the keyboard, I choose the Keychrone K8. It's a wireless keyboard and it can remember up to 3 devices, but it can also be used with a wire, which is perfect for online games and for my USB hub, monitor, so I don't need to manually switch between devices. It also has a switch to work with both macOS and Windows. Overall, it's the perfect keyboard for my usage scenario. As for the mouse, I use the Logitech M590, which can also work with 2 devices and quickly switch between them. But later on, I got myself a wired mouse for online games. But still, most of the time I use Logitech as it is almost silent. Since space on my desk is limited, I decided to use a soundbar instead of speakers. At first, I tried a cheap model, but then I realized that this option suited me, and I recently bought the Razer LEVIATHAN V2. Overall, I'm satisfied with the sound quality, considering its size. And it also has a Bluetooth, so sometimes we listen to music from the phone. The soundbar is connected with USB to the monitor, and of course it switches between devices. And next to the soundbar is a wireless phone charger that also serves as a stand for a phone. On the left side of the soundbar, I use my monitor arm as a stand for a headset, Jabra Evolve 75. Just like a mouse, it is connected to the monitor via USB receiver, but it also has the option to connect via Bluetooth. It has active noise cancellation and filters sounds well through the microphone, allowing for comfortable participation in work meetings. Overall, it provides a decent sound quality. Slightly better than the AirPods Pro, and the battery lasts for an entire workday. But if you connect these headphones with a cable, PC detects a wired device and we can use them for gaming. I even prepared a special place for attaching the cable. However, I can't use them for a long period, as my ears can't handle them. Let's talk about computer. For the last 2 years, I switched 5 of them. I built a PC from used components, then used it myself for a while, and then sold it. It was a hobby and a small side income. But this time I made myself a gift and got the best components on the market and put them into a beautiful white case. It has an Intel 13th Gen CPU, 32 gigs of RAM and RTX 4090. And if you want to know more about this build, I have a video on my channel. This PC allows me to run any game on the maximum settings, and if you think that it's overkill for my monitor, I think it's time to show you my third additional monitor. Or not quite a monitor, but a 55-inch 4K OLED TV with a 120Hz refresh rate. It is connected by a 5-meter HDMI cable, which is hidden under the carpet and it's almost invisible. This is where I need 4090. Games like Cyberpunk look stunning here. Ambilight in this TV is worth mentioning separately. We use it constantly for movies and games. As for me, it increases immersion in what's happening, and thanks to the diffuse light from the wall, it reduces eye strain when viewing HDR content. I understand people who like game consoles because of their simplicity. When you take a gamepad, turn on the console, and have a user-friendly interface with game selection. In my case, I just need to enable Big Picture mode in Steam and switch the display to my third monitor. The Xbox gamepad works perfectly in all games without any hassle. And that's it. I sit with a gamepad in front of TV just like I would with the console. And I'm not going to start a holy war of PC and consoles, because I have a console and it's great stuff. My wife uses it and sometimes we play Rocket League together. But yeah, sometimes I want to play games from the Game Pass, but for such cases I have a wireless mouse and a keyboard. And now I ask particularly sensitive console gamers to close their eyes for next 20 seconds, because I will show something terrible. Yeah, I admit, it's hard for me to play shooters with a gamepad, so in rare cases I have to use this kind of construction. Well, why not? It's actually quite convenient, and the Bluetooth signal is stable. I actually can recommend it. But for most games, of course, I use a gamepad. And it runs on rechargeable batteries. The charge lasts for a week or two with my usage. In theory, I could use it for my iPad and play games through the Steam Link or Xbox app, but in practice I don't really use it for that. I also have one more thing that needs to be dusted off. My VR headset, Oculus Rift S, that I bought back in the day for playing Half-Life Alyx. I rarely use them these days, mostly just bringing them out as a fun attraction for my friends. But there are actually some interesting games that I would like to play, and I'm curious to see what the gaming industry has come up with for the VR over the past year. I plan to dive deeper into this topic, and maybe later on I will share what comes out of it. Ironically, even though I build a high-performance computer, it doesn't mean that I use it often. Work, personal matters, and now YouTube has been added to my list of hobbies. For example, I spent a whole month working on this video. I bought equipment hoping to improve the quality. I really hope you notice it. By the way, I want to take opportunity and thank kind people for their kind words in my last video. They motivated me to do this, and I hope they had patience to watch the video up to this point. And if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing.